listening to Reignite, a podcast about uncovering more lore that Matt will instantly forget. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon.
Levi Dryden has been hanging around our camp for ages, just waiting for the Warden to pay attention to him. Apparently, Duncan promised to help Levi discover the truth behind his family's alleged betrayal and regain Warden's Keep as a strategic outpost. Once we arrive at the keep, we encounter memories of the past and many skeletons that do not like the cut of our jib. As we progress through the keep, we learn that, as is always the case with history, the story we know is not the whole truth. The Wardens stood up against a tyrannical king and were cast out. They learn that blood magic and summoning demons were used to protect themselves. Levi's great-grandmother, Sophia, has been taken by a demon who wishes to see the world that Sophia once knew. Avernus, the mage responsible for the demons in the keep, still lives, performing dark experiments. It's up to the Warden to decide how to handle these forces.
Wait, what are we doing again?
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it.
Look, I'm tired and sleep deprived and working long hours. My brain could barely contain this information. Look, when you get to be my age, you'll understand. All right.
I'll never be your age.
That's true, because my age will always increase. Well, that's the energy we're going with today. We have some check-ins. Of course, our first check-in is with Shale.
Shale!
And, of course, because we both gave Shale Pet Rock, we already get Shale's loyalty quest, as it were.
Yeah.
But I love the conversation right before that, where Shale says to me, "You're not like other humans." And I go, "Well, that's because I'm not human, actually."
Yeah, that's fair on your behalf.
I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm not." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, well, I've not really encountered many dwarfs either. But I meant you're not like other humans." And still goes on her explanation about how the people she's encountered are not anything like us. And it's very funny.
And she gets very into eugenics.
Very interesting and strange.
I'm just like, Shale, that's not cool. We don't do eugenics here.
And then she's like, "But we shouldn't tell the humans that they're doomed to failure. You know, they might catch wind and all will collapse." And so, of course, as a dwarf, I went, "Yeah, you're right. We should probably leave them in the dark."
I love that she's just a little old lady with anger issues.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
And she's little old lady in spirit, and obviously not in stature.
Right. But
she is a little old lady with anger issues.
Yes. And then I like the conversation that leads to her. I don't know that we have a gender for this Gollum, but we keep using her because the voice actress went by she, her pronouns. And so I guess that's, for me, why my brain goes there.
I always see Shale as she, they, because when we do work on her loyalty quest, we find out that she was a dwarven woman when she was alive. Sorry, spoilers. Spoilers for this game that has been out for like 20 years. Whoops-a-doodle. Anyway, so I think that's why I default to she. I don't recall if Shale ever expresses a preference.
I don't think so, but what I was saying was this. I like this conversation that leads to her loyalty quest because she asks about Carradine and like what happened to the anvil and all of that because she wants to know more about who she was.
Yeah.
And she requests that we go to the deep roads as soon as possible so we can find out. Which, boy, howdy, am I excited to go back to the deep roads.
Well, the deep roads. Fortunately, we both sided with Carradine.
Yes.
Can you imagine if we had to tell Shale, like, oh, actually, we killed him?
Yeah. We had to kill Carradine, and then the anvil still exists. But, like, so from Shale's perspective, though, I feel like she might not be that upset if the anvil... Because you'd only kill him to keep the anvil, right? And the anvil would also be useful to her, I think.
I don't think it is. I think that she would be incredibly upset regardless.
I mean, that's fair.
If you have ever played the path where you choose Bronca over Carradine, though gods know why... How does Shale react? Tell us. Write in.
Yeah.
When Shale brings up the desire to know more about who she was, she has this moment of like, was I forced into this? Who was I? And, you know, that feeling sucks. That feeling sucks so much. Not knowing who you were or what agency you had available to you. And I feel like that's something that happens to people now with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you always wonder what agency you had available. And I feel like even if you did have agency, like, that doesn't erase the fact that it was a traumatic event.
Right. And there are different levels of trauma. I mean, it is absolutely and medically possible to have a traumatic event so bad that you forget it.
Yeah.
And then don't know why you are the way you are. And also in the same vein, it is completely possible to have a brief case of amnesia or some kind of thing where you just can't remember things. And that, you know, short-term memory loss, whatever it is, and that stuff is scary too, because then you only have what in the present at your fingertips, and the not knowing can be scarier than anything else sometimes.
And we also get confirmation that Willem fucking sucked.
Yeah.
He was a shitty, shitty person.
Unsurprising.
Oh my god. Poor Shale. Just having to put up with that. I'm so glad that she's free now.
Same.
My only other check-in is one that I initiated. So with Alistair, I was kind of like keeping my options open if I could, because I wasn't ready to commit. But I went to talk to him, and I was looking to see what other conversation paths I had with him. And Alistair was raised in the Chantry. And he's basically 20 years old right now. And he has not been in the Wardens that long. And there are very few female Wardens. And, like, we know that this is a heteronormative world that we're living in this dragon age. This age of dragons. We know that it is very heteronormative, so let me speak in the binary terms. So Alistair doesn't have a lot of exposure to women, and nor does he have a lot of experience.
Right.
So I get to have a conversation with him where I'm like, so, are you a virgin?
Oh my god.
And he was very graceful about it. He was like, yeah, well, I just never really had the opportunity. And he said something about, like, I've never, it's not like I've always been surrounded by beautiful women like you. And I was like, oh, you think I'm beautiful? And he's like, yeah, and you know it, you dumbass.
To be fair, that should be the reaction when someone like you says, oh, I'm pretty? I had no idea. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I just think it's funny. And then I can invite him back to my tent, and then he has a moment of like, are you sure? Because I don't really know what I'm working with in terms of skill level. And I just find it really funny and sweet and endearing, because, like, that stuff doesn't matter when you love someone.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Also, direction and instruction is important as long as the other party is willing, right?
Yeah. I just thought it was cute. It was sweet. So, Alistair and my warden had sex. That is it. That's all I can tell you.
That's fair. Yeah.
I do want to say that the sex scenes are weird because you are, like, still in your, like, designer bra and loincloth. It's just, I don't know.
They're very strange.
Yeah.
For the Zevran and my warden sex scene, it didn't look like we were still wearing anything, but it was hard to tell because it was mostly upper body.
Yeah.
But I did speak to Zevran again in camp this time, and he regaled me with the poem that you had hinted at previously, the Antivan poem that apparently was said to him by a target before they had sex and before he killed them. It was just like, what is your life? But then right, and then he recited it to me, and he's like, well, how did I do it? And, like, we got to flirt a little, but nothing really seems to come much more of that other than more backstory. And I gave him the Dalish gloves that remind him of his mother's gloves, and so he really liked that. I had a conversation with Alistair about the Archdemon nightmare, which we touched on before. It's just kind of talking about where we're at and how it seems to be getting worse. And Alistair's like, well, one thing's for sure. This is definitely a blight.
Yep.
Yay.
As if we did not know.
Right.
Confirmation for the win.
And then I had a conversation with Wynn to talk a little bit more about the spirit that kept her alive when she thought she would die, and that apparently this spirit and things like this have been with her since she was young. That she has had this thin veil between her and the veil, and how she's encountered demons her whole life, but the spirit seems to have been protecting her whole life.
I love you. It's the veil and the fade.
The veil and the fade. Thank you.
I'm going to preface all of my corrections with I love you, just so you know.
Look, there's a lot of proper nouns in this game. If you're relying on me for the proper nouns, then that was your first problem. But yeah, it was like the fade. Her connection to the fade was very strong, and it always felt like she could sense demons and spirits, and this spirit specifically, she's realizing more and more has kind of been with her whole life.
Yeah.
And then
like a guardian angel.
Right. And then says, but, you better do the right thing, because if you're not on your toes and saving this world, I will come back from the dead to finger waggle at you, more or less, is what she says.
Yeah. And I'm just like, you are not even 50. Can you please calm the fuck down?
You're not even my real mom.
You're not even old enough to be my mom. Please stop. Calm down. Anyway.
And so, yeah, that I think was the last of my check-ins.
Cool. Let's talk to Levy.
Yeah, so talking to Levy, we find out that apparently Duncan had promised him a bunch of stuff, and they had been in constant communication before everything went to hell. And so Levy then shares that same information with us about what him and Duncan have been talking about. Pretty much that there's this old Warden keep that is part of Levy's family, and Duncan was going to help him go explore it and find out what happened there, because he doesn't really know. It's mostly rumors of what went down.
What he does know is that his great-great-grandmother was the last Warden commander of Ferelden.
Right.
Something happened. The king at the time banished the Wardens, took away the Dryden land and titles, and declared the Dryden family to be traitors. So they have built themselves up back to being merchants. There was a civil war after King Arlen died, and they really don't know what triggered the banishment. They just know that the family reveres Sophia. She was the most honorable member of their family, and he'd really like evidence to clear her name and restore the family honor. And also, if we take back Soldier's Peak, it's a strategic point for the Wardens. So,
right. It was this idea that Levy could go and move past beyond these hints and rumors and find out for sure exactly what happened. And even if not finding that out, it would be a great place for the Wardens to hold up, and for a place for them to build up and regrow their strength, become a force again within this area. And so we agree to help. Well, at least I agreed to help. You might have told him to fuck off. I don't know.
No, I agree.
And so then he says, great, I'm going to come with you, because I want to know what's going on. Which my first thought was, oh great, I have to protect someone. But thankfully,
he just kind of stands in a corner. He's like, "Go team," and nothing bad happens to him ever.
Yeah, he can't seem to be hurt, and he says when you arrive that he's just gonna kind of hang back and just follow along at a distance. And
by a distance, he means standing in the middle of the room.
I know he's constantly in the middle of the fray, but hey, video game magic.
Whatever. Who'd you take?
So I took my boyfriend, my mom, and my rock friend.
Oh, we took the same people.
Yeah. Shale, I like using Alistair as a tank, but Shale is my tank the minute I get her. I love her. I don't often switch between characters during combat, but if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I will switch to Shale and use Taunt, so all the enemies turn on her and then go back to my character.
Yeah, that's valid.
But yeah, that's who I brought.
Yeah, I brought the same people. I brought Shale because I wanted to spend some more time with her before we kind of get into Endgame. Because I know once we get into Endgame, I'm gonna want Alistair in my party all the time. So I just wanted to have a couple of missions with Shale before that happened. And, like, I love Severin, so he's always my pal. And, win, healing. We
Yeah.
double team as healers. So, we never have too many healers.
That is definitely true.
So, once we get there, we are immediately thrust into a flashback to the past. And this place is hella haunted. We see a scene where Ferelden soldiers are trying to starve out the Wardens. And after a little poking around the courtyard, we get attacked by some skeletons.
Yeah. The best part is after that cutscene, Levy's immediately like, wait a minute. Did that happen to you too? Am I crazy? Like, what's going on? And then, we fight our way through the courtyard. Skeletons. Typical, like, place is haunted. They be zombies and skeletons. Something is not good happening here.
I really wish the Warden skeletons, like, recognized you as a Warden and left you alone.
Right? That would be sweet.
I'd be like, hey guys, we're on the same side.
Sort of. I mean, you're undead, but like, let me just give you a good clock.
When you die, when you die, do you just like lose all the loyalties you had in life, and you just join the skeleton army?
I mean, it depends. I mean, if you always wanted to be a part of the in crowd, then maybe you just go with the flow once you're undead. Like
you're immediately drafted into the skeleton army. I will not join your skeleton army.
No, me neither. Also, if I ever become a zombie, I'm going to do my own thing. I like being individual. Okay. I won't follow the herd.
All right. Definitely living your warm body's life.
Exactly.
So once we defeat all the skeletons in the courtyard, we are inside. We get another flashback where Sophia gives a rousing pep talk. We are Wardens! Are we to bend knee to a mere human despot?
When you said we are Wardens, our brain went to we are farmers. Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, and then after that, we continue further inside, and then it's just more killing.
Sophia does give a good pep talk, though, and she does close it out with never give up, never surrender.
Never give up,
never surrender. Go watch Galaxy Quest after this.
Tim Allen is a shit and he sucks, but a Galaxy Quest is a great movie.
Yes. Yeah, so Sophia really inspires the Wardens to rather die than submit to Arlen's tyranny. Imagine how bad of a king you have to be for the Wardens to get involved.
Right?
They don't even care about politics. They're just we just want to kill Darkspawn. And all we care about is that you help us when we need it. You have to be a really terrible king for the Wardens to give a shit.
Yeah, this is almost reflective of maybe something like foreshadowing. Maybe this is telling us something.
Okay, so we jump ahead through the fighting. We discover another memory where an archivist is trying to record the truth. There's a grand rebellion. Someone is worried because wardens aren't supposed to oppose kings and princes. But, if you're actually abusing your people, then can the wardens really idly stand by and let that happen?
Nope.
Sophia was a badass, though. Unfortunately, she did sanction the summoning of demons, which I do not approve of.
Yeah, during the height of the final battle that we see in a flashback, Sophia tells the head mage to begin summoning, and they summon demons, and of course it goes as great as you'd expect.
Yeah.
They summon the demons, and the demons turn on the wardens and start attacking everyone. The wardens, the king's men, didn't matter. Everyone got attacked.
Yeah. I generally think that blood magic is a bad idea because of this.
Yeah.
Because you just can't control it. But mages are often forced into these corners where it is literally their last resort and they don't know what else to do. Mm-hmm. And that's what they turn to because that's all they have left. And they think that I'll be the one to be able to control it because my motivations are pure and et cetera, et cetera. And it has nothing to do with your motivations. It has nothing to do with your strength of will or anything like that. It's just that demons are fucking unpredictable. And that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this franchise, the examples of blood magic we see that work are still at a cost. I don't think it's ever just like, this is great, we have demon friends. Like it
Yeah.
always has some kind of cost, whether it's the death of those that you care about or a toll on the caster themselves or whatever. But like, there's always a cost.
I honestly can't think of one instance of blood magic in the entire franchise that, like, I am okay with the resulting sacrifice, you know?
Right. I think there are blood magic users who I sympathize with in the franchise.
Right. And
but yeah, I mean, often it is, again, it's I mean, blood magic is akin to a lot of violence, right? Violence, justified or not, there's always a cost. Even if you're protecting yourself, even if you're protecting others,
yeah,
there's always a cost.
I think so in one of Tamara Pierce's books, they talk about blood magic. And blood magic is not seen as a, like, horrible, evil thing in her world. In her world, using your own blood is fine because it comes from the self. And you are using, like, your own blood to power your magic. So it's coming from you. What is frowned upon and considered illegal is using someone else's blood.
Mm.
And I kind of wish that is how blood magic worked here. Because I feel like if the blood is coming from you, you should have more, like, control almost. Because, like, you're making a personal sacrifice. You're not sacrificing someone else. Right.
I mean, I think also, so we talked about it a bit, and we'll continue to talk about this as the franchise goes on, but the magic's relationship in Dragon Age to the casters and to the greater world is flawed and kind of broken constantly.
Yeah.
And like, on the one hand, it's an interesting take on magic, right? It's not just people can cast spells, yay, hooray, right? Like, there is a cost. It's political. Like, it's an interesting take, but I think it's often muddied and ugly for better or worse, right? There's no right or wrong, I think. It's an interesting way to tell the story, but because of the way it's designed and the way magic works in this world, it often makes most of the narratives around it muddy. There's not like a clear, like, right or wrong, because of how it's shaped. And like, we will, like, the whole second game is more or less about that, and we'll get to that. Yeah. But I do think it's interesting, and every time I find out more about it in this world, I think it is an interesting take, because magic can be very boring and straightforward in a lot of other places. So it has that, at least, I think, going for it.
Yeah. Blood magic is a complicated issue, and I'm sure we'll have more debates about it. Well, not debates, but, like, discussions.
Yes.
Debate implies that we're on opposite sides of the issue, and we're not really.
We're not, but
we have different perspectives on it.
Right.
But, like, we largely overlap in our opinion.
Yes. Correct.
So we enter an office where we find a horribly desiccated Sophia.
Yes.
And I love that Levy's like, she's still alive? And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
Does that look alive to you?
Yeah. Like, that's not really what I would call alive.
So Sophia has been taken over by a demon, and the demon has a proposition for us. Mm-hmm. And basically wants to be set free so that way they can explore and see the world and feed. And I'm like, you had me until you said feed.
Yeah, and it's
you
funny
almost got me.
Like, there's an option to just kill her right off the bat, or you can ask to hear what the offer is. And when I did that, Shell was like, really? I thought we were the good guys. You're hearing an offer from a demon?
Yeah, Shell said the same thing, and I'm just shh.
I need to know what's going on. I need all the information. It's lore. Okay. It's all lore. Yes, that was a Matt Pat impression. Moving on. Yeah, at the minute she said feed, I went, well, I guess, sorry, Levy. And the big thing is here is you can, agree to her terms and set her free.
Which are to kill Avernus and, like, she'll help close the veil or something.
Right. and you'll also get information.
Yeah.
And in exchange, you'll get information on what actually happened, the family history, all of that. Or you can kill her. And of course, I killed her. I assume you did the same.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that Levy wasn't like, Grandmama, no!
He's kind of just like, bummer. Grandma was a monster. Oh, well.
Yeah, like, he knew that she wasn't herself. Like, he knew that I wasn't killing a human. I was killing a demon possessing his grandmother's body. So, he wasn't, like, overly, like, fussed over it. It's like, oh, sad, but okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Fair. Harsh, but fair.
Yeah. As we continue to fight. Oh, we skipped something. Or maybe this came after. So, one of the rooms you go into later, there is a empty room with a big green bottle on a table. And it screams, touch this thing. And so when you click on it, you can either drink it or destroy it, but you get no context other than it looks like a poison bottle. And so did you drink it or destroy it?
No, I destroyed it.
I drank it.
Why would you do that?
Curious. And
what happened to you?
It unlocked new abilities for me.
Yeah, I know, because it was done by experiments made on fucking Wardens.
Yeah.
So, good job for participating in more blood magic. Good on you.
I mean, also, let's be fair, dwarf don't really know magic from not magic.
That's true.
And so, for me, I see a bottle, I can drink it. I'm hardy, and so it's like, let's give it a shot.
But I call shenanigans on this because there is no universe in which the Matt Storm I know and love would walk into a room, see a random bottle on a table, and then just drink it. Matt Storm would be like, if I drink that, my stomach will not be happy.
Yes, you're also talking to the Matt Storm that often eats stuff that upsets his stomach with intent and on purpose. So
yeah, but that's things that, like, you know what it is, so you know what the pleasure, like, punishment outcome is gonna be like. You know what that ratio is. I cannot imagine you looking at something being like, I don't know what this is, and then drinking it. Because you don't know. Like, you don't know what the ratio is. I can't imagine that you would take the risk.
All right.
I call shenanigans on you.
Maybe there was a little bit of metagaming. Either way, I didn't die.
All right. Well, good on you. I'm so proud of you. I forgot to make a note about that, but I definitely destroyed it. Let's see. Let's just jump ahead to Avernus, because fighting skeletons is boring.
Correct.
We know that Avernus performed testing on live subjects. Give Levy the opportunity to ask questions, and we find out that Avernus guided Levy there. He did say nicely that his great-great-grandmother was the best of them. But there is no proof to be had about... There is no proof to be had about what Sophia represented to the Wardens.
Yeah. He also tells us exactly what happened and how he's been performing experiments, but he's old and tired and he doesn't have much time left and does want to set things right. He does want to close the veil to the Fade. And so
one thing that he told us, though, that pissed me off was that he used blood magic on people to keep them quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no.
It's not how this works.
It's not how this works. Like, I don't know. I have thoughts about using certain types of magic on people without their consent.
Well, sure, it's a consent conversation. Magic, if it existed in the real world, would require plenty of consent.
Like, battle magic is different, obviously, because, you know, nobody consents to fighting with each other, really.
Well, sure.
Like, yeah. But, like, something like that, I don't know.
Mind-altering stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Like drugs. You wouldn't give someone drugs without their knowledge. Same thing. You wouldn't give them...
I don't know why, but you saying you wouldn't give them made me go, like, you wouldn't download a drug.
Sure. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't download a blood mage.
But yeah, it does give me pause. But he does appear to want to set things right and tells us that if we help him, we can shut down the tower for good, and then what we choose to do with him is up to us.
Yeah. My favorite is him saying calculation errors were inevitable. With people's lives, my guy? Alright, whatever. Let's go cleanse this place.
And so the final battle is just him trying to close close off the Fade from this reality, and to do that we have to fight waves of enemies and then a desire demon at the end, and then eventually he's able to close it off. It's pretty boring boss fight as far as boss fights go.
Yeah. Yeah, my notes go, he wants to cleanse this place. He wants to rediscover the secrets of ancient Avenger. Stay your hand until demons are dealt with. Off to the Great Hall. There will be peril. And it's over.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So Avernus wants to be left to experiment in peace. I chose to make him atone and research ethically. So no more experimenting on people, no more blood magic, etc., etc., and he's gonna die soon anyway.
I did the same. My logic was, since he seems to deeply regret what he's done and whether it was right or wrong, if we can use his help, and he's going to die anyway, if he's going to agree to do it ethically, we could see great benefit from that. And also, it's hard to turn away allies when we have so few at this point, although they are growing.
I'm going to start making the opposite decision from what I would make, so that way we can have a varied point of view on this stupid show.
I know. It's been 4.5 seasons, and we're still making the same goody-goody decisions.
Still the same obnoxiously nice people.
Look, in our defense, typically in other seasons, we've had a lot of guests who often will do different things.
That's true. So yeah, Soldier's Peak is safe again. I tell Levy he's a good man, and now we can return and buy stuff from Levy. The end.
The end. Perfect little bow.
It was a really short one.
Yeah. I don't mind this mission. It is very obvious it's a DLC. It's very obvious that it's kind of set outside.
Does the job that DLC is meant to do. It's like a little bonus story that doesn't really impact the greater story at all.
Right.
And, you get some extra stuff that you can sell, which I plan to. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, a DLC missions often were designed this way. They become more integrated over the course of this company's history. You look at Mass Effect 1 versus Mass Effect 3. And like the DLC character Shale also is very much like a character that is fun to have and has some cool story stuff, but doesn't really have any impact on the major story beats. I'm curious with Shale, and I forgot to ask in the last episode, can you get Shale before you do any of the Dwarven stuff?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Because, I'd be curious to see her reaction to Carradine and stuff like that in person. That would be interesting.
You absolutely can get Shale first thing. We just tend to put our DLC on the back end.
Right.
So, I'm sorry that I denied you that opportunity.
It's okay. I also, if we got Shale earlier, I would have never used Alistair or any other tank because I like Shale.
It's true. At least Alistair got some playtime.
That's true. I mean, he would have anyway, thanks to you, but Yeah.
He's a sweet boy. Okay, so next up, return to Ostagar.
Yeah, I mean, I think between this and the Landsmeet, we should just finish up the DLC, and then we'll do, because after Denerim and the Landsmeet, it's probably side quests and then the end of the game-ish. There's more than that, but it'll probably be more episodes than that, but we are headed barreling towards the end of the game, and I think doing Return to Ostagar just makes sense, and then doing the Landsmeet and Denerim kind of snowballs us into doing side quests, wrapping up the game, that kind of thing.
There's a section of this game that can go completely buck wild in terms of outcome, and I am very hopeful that you and I do different things.
Yeah, I'll say this. I know what I've done before, and I know the moment you're talking about, and I don't know. I may do the same thing again. I have to see how I feel.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, so I think next up is Return to Ostagar, which is also kind of a short one. But then, do you want to then take care of side quests?
I don't remember how short Ostagar is. We could do Return to Ostagar and then kind of do a highlight reel of the side quests.
I meant loyalty quests. I'm sorry.
The loyalty quests, yeah. Like I think we could do Return to Ostagar and then like do highlights from the different loyalty quests. And if we have the time, we can go more dive really deep. But a lot of them are pretty short anyway. Yeah, we could do that. We could do Return to Ostagar and side quests.
Okay. We will try to do that. So if you like what you heard here, follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook.com/ReignitePod. Or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. Our inbox is so lonely. Please send us messages. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at FrankieBWrites, and Matt is over at Fun and Games Pod. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
You can also find Frankie and me over on Blue Sky. I know that it is limited to get over there, and folks are waiting for invites, but that is where I am doing most of my shit posting that I can't do on Twitter anymore, unless I do it occasionally on the Fun and Games account.
I forgot that I have a Blue Sky account.
Yeah.
I will try to use it.
But you can at least find me over there. I'm pretty active over there if you have one.
I am still FrankieBWrites, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and I am DJ Stormageddon because they don't like underscores over there. We're also members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts with a unique point of view. You can also find permanent invite links to our Discord server on that website and join in the conversation. You can also find all of this stuff, where to rate and review, the Discord invite, our socials, all in the show notes now. I put them there so you can just click on over to the show notes in whatever app you are using and click on through. They're all hyperlinked, so you can check them out that way as well.
Personal plug time. I still have nothing in the works. Again, thank you again to Kevin Blood and Case Aiken for donating some money to my Keep Frankie Alive initiative. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help me to furnish my new home and maybe make my audio sound a little bit better so that way there's some furniture in my office, check out my Amazon wishlist over at bit.ly/FrankieMoved. That's MOVED.
My stuff is still the usual stuff. You can find all of the stuff that I do at djstormageddon.com. It has all the podcasts that I either host or edit. It has the Fun and Games Patreon. It has my merch store. It has a whole bunch of stuff. I want to try and get back into streaming this summer, but I haven't really had the time. But you can follow my Twitch at DJ_Stormageddon over there as well. Pretty much all of that stuff has stayed the same. And again, the best place to reach me, as I said before, is either Blue Sky or via the Fun and Games Twitter. We'd like to thank Carter's husband, the one and only Case Aiken, for developing amazing t-shirt designs that you can also find at certainpov.com or on Teespring. Case also designs each and every episode's individual show art, so thank you for that.
We'd like to thank Radic Wade and Echoes of Oblivion for our theme music.
And also we'd love to thank Red Spinks for our incredibly badass brand new logo. To see more of Red's work, you can go to Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
That's it for us, folks. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon. Remember, Grey Wardens.
In war, victory.
In peace, vigilance.
In death, sacrifice.
Okay, bye.
Hey, Nerf herders.
You sure you want to go with that?
Hey, everyone.
There we go. More inviting.
Have you ever had a movie that you really wanted to love, but something holds you back?
Or one that you did love in spite of a flaw?
Well, I'm Case Aiken.
And I'm Sam Alisea.
And on Another Pass, we sit down with cool guests to look at movies that we find fascinating.
But flawed.
And we try to imagine what could have been done when they were made to give them that little push.
We're not experts. We just believe in criticism.
Constructive criticism.
Sure.
So come take another pass at some movies with us.
And every now and then, we can celebrate movies that did it on their own, too.
You can find us at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Pass it on.
CPOV.
certainpov.com.